Hi everyone, I'm Tony Wright. I'm the founder and CEO of WrightIMC. Some of you know me, some of you don't, but I've been doing crisis communication and reputation management work for a long time, as well as my digital marketing work. And I wanted to create a couple of videos, and this is the first one. So check back. We will be making some more of these. But I know that there are a lot of folks out there that are being heavily impacted. Their businesses are being heavily impacted or will be heavily impacted by what's going on with the coronavirus and people having to stay home and self-isolate. And obviously, wash your hands, take care of your people, all of that sort of thing. But I do know that in my experience, most small businesses and medium-sized businesses have not thought through crisis planning, especially to a crisis of this scale. And frankly, every single business that I come in contact with really needs a few things when it comes to crisis planning and creating a crisis plan. So I'm going to go through 5 things that you can do right now if you don't have a crisis plan in place or are not prepared for this type of thing, things that you can do today that will help you to weather this storm. The first step within a crisis plan, in most cases that we do, is we work to figure out who's going to be doing what in your organization. Now, for some of you that are very small businesses, this is going to be very simple because the CEO will be the one that's doing all of the responding. The person who's in charge will be doing it. But if you have an organization, you need to make sure that you understand who is going to be responding to what for the business. When you get customer inquiries, who's going to be responding to those things? Employee questions about your policies, etc. Who is going to be doing that? And then also, do your employees know what they can and can't say? If you're contemplating shutting things down or talking about services not going to happen, are your employees going to start spreading rumors, etc.? You need to make sure you have a social media policy, have a policy for what employees should and should not say. Be transparent with them, but also ask them to keep things that are somewhat confidential. You don't necessarily, especially if you're still this type of situation is very fluid. So as you're making your policies, making what you're going to do, you need to make sure that your employees aren't listening in to half-baked ideas and spreading those out and affecting your customers or affecting your sales, etc. So the first thing I would do is create a matrix on who's going to respond to what situations. Understand that the more you can do on this, the better off you are. Play the videotape all the way out to the end. What are the worst case scenarios that could happen? And create that communications matrix for your company right away. Just this morning, I was watching the news and a commercial came on for a local furniture store urging people to come in for a sale. I'm sure this commercial was made quite a ways back and they haven't had a chance to update that, but if you are running television and radio, if you are running advertising, marketing, make sure you're checking your message to make sure that it's not tone deaf to what is going on right now. Everyone is talking about how it's important to self-isolate, social distancing, etc. Encouraging people to come into your store without telling them that they're going to be safe or creating some sort of policy and putting that in your messaging is a little bit tone deaf at this moment. It's better to take a little bit of time, sit back, check your messaging. Make sure that you're not messaging something that is not appropriate at this time. We're all kind of in a holding pattern, waiting to see what's going to happen with schools, with businesses, etc. If you're in an area where they've closed down restaurants and bars, if you are a restaurant and bar, you need to make sure that everyone knows that you're not open. You need to make sure that your messaging is appropriate. You're not still saying, hey, come in for happy hour, etc. check your messaging. Go back and look at all your ads. Make sure that if you are paying for something that isn't appropriate, that you either change the messaging or pause the advertising right away. The last thing you want to be doing is seen as an insensitive business that doesn't know what's going on in the world around you. We need to make sure that our messaging fits with what is going on in the marketplace. On messaging again, it's important right now to get the information out. I know that a lot of brands are very, very particular about the production values that they put out of their videos. They're spending a lot of time on emails and wording them, etc. I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to be forgiving if you want to put a video out, something else out that does not have the production values that they're used to. In fact, in some ways, it's a little bit endearing if you're putting something out kind of like this video, where it's very simple, to the point. There's no huge graphics. This is not about creativity. This is about getting your message out and making sure that your message is telling people what you're doing during this crisis, that you're open, that they can still come out, and we'll get into getting people to support you in the next section. If you have a list of your existing customers, either their email addresses or phone numbers, that's great. If you don't, now's a good time to start collecting that, because one of the things that we need to do is we need to be reaching out to our customers, our existing customers, people that have done business with us, and tell them how they can support us. Now, this is not just come buy from us, etc. This is specific things that are going on and why they're valuable to you and why you would like their continued support. If you have those email addresses and phone numbers, obviously text and email are great to reach out to people. Now, but be aware, especially in email, that they are going to get inundated. Just last week, I swear I saw over 500 businesses that I do business with send me an email about their COVID-19 response. This is not about your COVID-19 response. Your COVID-19 response, that can go on your website. If you are a business that people are going to be worried, say you're in healthcare or you serve an audience that is at high risk, yeah, that's probably important to let them know what you're doing to keep them safe. But frankly, most of the things that you're doing to keep them safe are not really in this situation that relevant, because everyone's been asked to stay home. So how can people support you when they're staying home? If you're a restaurant, can they order delivery? How can they order delivery? How can they order, how can they buy a gift card from you? How can they support you during this time? Even if they can't support you, one of the things that everybody could do is leave you a positive review, so that when things do get better, you have a much better review profile on Google and Yelp, etc. Now, be careful on Yelp, because you don't want to get in trouble there. But I think that it's okay. It's okay to ask for those reviews. And it's okay to reach out to your customers and let them know how they can support you. We're in an environment right now where people want to support businesses. They know that businesses are going through a hard time. They know they're going to go through a hard time. And people still have economic means to support. And it's important to get out there early while that is still going on, because frankly, we're all going to be suffering in a few months on cash flow and et cetera, except for those that are able to take advantage of what's going on in the marketplace. And if you want to be one of those people that's taking advantage of it, you might need to get that cash flow up and get people to support you now while they have the means to do so. So getting that message out of support, not about your COVID-19 response, but how can your customers support you? That is something that's extremely important to do in this environment. One thing that's going on right now, nothing's normal. I know that most of us are looking at what's going on out in the world and seeing that this is nothing like anything we've ever seen before. Anything that you can do as a business to create a new normalcy, to create that routine for people, for them to understand that where you are and understand what your business is doing to create something that resembles normalcy, both for your customers and your employees. If you can do that, you're going to be in good shape. Any kind of temporary items that you do, at least you may not be able to stick to it, but set a date for how long you're going to do it. Let people know what to expect. create that new normal, create that consistency that you've always had as a business, and talk about how you're going to maintain that consistency throughout this new environment that we look at. Creating normalcy is going to help your customers buy from you, help your customers understand how to stick with you during the rough times. So anything you can do to create that new normalcy is going to help you out in the short term and in the long term. So thank you for watching this far. Plan on doing a few more of these, a series of these on crisis communication, crisis management during these unprecedented times. Reach out to me. My Twitter is Tony N. Wright, at Tony N. Wright. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. If you need to know how to get a hold of me, just go to Google and type in Tony Wright search, or go to WrightIMC.com. That's WrightIMC.com as in Internet Marketing Communications. Love to talk to you if you need some help. I am opening up some times on my calendar for some free business consultation on crisis management, and I'd be happy to talk to you as long as those slots don't fill up too much. So subscribe to these videos. We'll be back soon with more.